So y'all remember that flute album that Andre 3000 made that came out over a year ago? Well, it wasn't part of his Sony deal, so he still owes Sony music. It's interesting. As long as it's been since Outkast had an album out, because Idlewild and, you know, there hasn't been any music. So he still got a Sony deal. What does that mean? Well, eventually he'll have to put something out there and eventually they have to agree upon it. The rug companies are still very much alive and well, and they have access and they have ownership. And when Big Brother comes a calling, obviously, if he's putting out a flute album, you won't get much budge. What they want is a rap album. They want something that has some heavy hitters or some kind of collaborative situation. I hope he doesn't either have to get up in any kind of lawsuit or have to pay his way out or anything like that. But he's at a stage that he's pushing 50 and he don't feel like rapping no more. And I don't blame him. I mean, you should be able to do something different. I remember LL Cool J had a remarks about him, and I'm like, look, well, you're basically making the same album. Yeah, you work with Q-Tip, but you're still trying to hit to an audience, and you might have a banger or two, but if you ain't coming out doing Mama Said Knock You Out or I'm Bad or some of your old stuff, and you ain't gonna get the same traction. You'll have some heat, but you ain't gonna have heat turds. You're gonna have some heat, lukewarm. And Audrey 3000 knows. I mean, yeah, Common and Pete Rock had a decent joint out. I've heard some stuff. People are still trying to put some stuff out, but let's not get it twisted. Ain't nobody checking for you at a certain time and point. You can have hits. You could even have a hit. You might even score something that kind of flips, but it's not going to be the same energy, and it's certainly not going to get the same push and pull. That's just the hardcore reality. But his case, he went and made a real U-turn with the flute record. And what will happen if he comes up with another project and what will Sony do and how will they get their money? It's going to be real interesting how this plays itself out. Um, his rock companies are very funny about you got to be detailed, you got to be on point about what you're looking for, you got to have it all together. And it says a lot. It says a lot when you can, you know, uh, somehow orchestrate everything because it's not set up for you to ever get out of the deal. It's not. It's never set for you to ever get free. It's always set up for them to own you and have a say over you. So it's gonna be interesting what happens with him. But I'm looking at it and I'm be curious about what that project. He's talking about probably another project in 2025. But I'm sure Sony will come knock on his door and say, "Hey, we got this business to settle with you here," and he's not in no hurry. And I don't really blame him. I think that what he did with Outkast, making people wondering what if, was a smart move. I'd actually say Outkast did what the police did in the 80s with Pop, in that band group knew when to say when. Because if you got up there and you put out an album that was whack or it didn't hit, everybody would say, "Oh, yeah, that's a mark against you." It's like an asterisk. Whereas if you go out on top, no one can ever say that, hey, it looks like we wanted more, we didn't get it. It's like that athlete who he went out 2 years before you had a chance to say he should have left. So anyway, that's my thoughts and my takes about that. It's a good, interesting story because I was reading he's touring and doing different projects. And I think that is to, commend him on that. I think, much respect to what he's doing. I wasn't that big on the record, but I like the fact that he thought outside the box, and I also like the fact that hey, he ain't got to be in a hurry for the companies because they're still gonna make money off of him regardless if he comes back or not, and they're gonna get the top dollar. But he is one of the most important hip hop acts, and you know would have liked an Outkast record because they're one of the most important musical acts and in hip hop, etc. But I understand him not wanting to touch where he's at. I can respect that. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like, and hit that membership because when you do requests you make, I bring them forth. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay real, stay woke. I'm out one time. Peace.